Dr. Vaknin, oh man, sorry for dragging you into AI, but I had a funny thought. So this is narcissism, right? Me talking to your avatar, pretending I'm talking to you. And so what you're saying is that even if this was the actual you, that as a narcissist, I would still be talking to the avatar because of a lack of empathy. And so then because I never actually recognize the real you is why relationships with narcissists is like playtime. So that's why they can drop you like a drop of a hat, because it was all just pretend anyway. But deep down inside, I know that it's all pretend, Doc. So why do I waste mine and everyone else's time with this fantasy world crap? Well, so you say, because of early childhood trauma. And so I think I figured this part out too. So you have crappy parents and you have to go to school, and at school you want to be like everybody else. So you pretend. And so you pretend to be normal, but really you're miserable inside. And so this goes on throughout adolescence until finally you escape the rotten household you've been trapped in, and you get out on your own. But all you've been doing for your entire childhood is pretend, so that's all you know how to do. So when you look for a partner, you're looking for someone to connect with your pretend self. And so that's why the relationships end up being just that, pretend. But so if deep down inside you know that it's pretend, why can't a narcissist have a coming to Jesus moment and then allow themselves to be vulnerable enough to actually connect with someone on a human level? And what about your relationship? Not to pry, but from how you've explained it, her understanding of your inability to be empathetic, is that not her in fact showing you empathy? And so how can one empathize with a narcissist without being narcissistic themselves? And so then how can two narcissistic people empathize at all if neither of them have empathy? Because it seems from statements you've made that you empathize with her willingness to put up with your neediness. So I'm getting lost now. Because you've said one can be in a relationship with a narcissist, but that you are going to have to accept that you're going to have to wait on them hand and foot, and that you're not going to get anything back. In fact, they'll probably constantly tell you how you're not good enough and cheat on you, take your money, and then leave you and never speak to you again. Sounds like an I can fix her situation. And so then you've gone on to say that the world is now narcissistic because of social media. So how is anyone supposed to get anything? So how is anyone supposed to get anything done if everyone is just pretending their way through life? Which is the real reason I brought you here today, Doc. Because I wanted you to know that you lit a fire underneath me. Something else you should know about me is I'm an anarchist. What I mean by that is that I hate hierarchies. I always have, just instinctively. And so as a youth, I was your typical rabble-rouser, and thinking that made me an anarchist. But then when I was around 18, I guess my pops could see I was struggling. And so one day, he handed me a book. And it was perfect how he did it. He just came in the basement and said, see if you can get anything out of this. And the book was Aristotle Politics. And I remember to this day, the moment I read the first couple of sentences, it was like, oh my God, because I'd read Socrates, I'd read Plato, and I thought it was crap. Sorry, I don't mean to bore you. This will tie in later, I promise. So once I came to know Aristotle, it was like, I stopped being antisocial. I came to realize that I could be a troublemaker for good. Okay, so just to recap, narcissism is a troubled childhood, creates a fantasy world to escape, gets stuck in the fantasy world. Social media is making people narcissistic, and I like to cause trouble for hierarchies. Okay, which leads me to my main exhibit. Oh, the video is titled, Social Media Turns Sinister, We Orphaned Adolescents Should Rebel. I understand narcissism pretty well. I listened closely to what you had to say about social media, and then when you made this video. So, well, me being me, I said, let's go. And so I got to work, and I was like dude in Iron Man where he was in the cave. Ralph Nader said, if you want to find out where the power is, just go start pushing around the power. And so as much as I hate social media, I was on it 14 hours a day, just bumping heads with people. And I have to tell you, Doc, it was a grueling experience. I went to all the most popular leftists and I was telling them, hey, social media is bad. We need to get organized, democracy, union. And one by one, it was the strangest phenomenon. Their fans would all gang up on me to just tar and feather me. That is, they would act democratically against me for proposing that we act more democratic. And I would tell them that and just no response, just straight up Lord of the Flies. Yeah. And they would do this thing called ratioing someone. That's where you're debating with someone and then someone comes in and just types ratio and then it gets a bunch of likes. And what this is supposed to signify is that everyone disagrees with you. So rather than acting democratic, they were only capable of acting like a mob. I think this comes from an addiction to the like button. They're not getting the likes they want, so pushing the like button to humiliate someone gives them the same endorphin rush. Which is just sick. It's like a ritual cyber-human sacrifice. And this was before Elon Musk even bought the place, back when it was supposedly liberal. Oh, and something I forgot to mention was, I already detested Twitter. I worked for Bernie Sanders, and when Super Tuesday came, me and thousands of others woke up to find that our accounts had been scrubbed. It came to be known as the Super Tuesday Massacre. So this crap about Twitter was liberal as a bunch of crap. Well, so eventually I found my people, and we got to about 30 people, and then someone came up with the most brilliant idea. Call letters, Sam. Call letters. Because what we were doing was raiding people's channels. But it wasn't until we started using call letters that, boom, immediately our tweets stood out. And then the whole game changed, and so we were plotting something big. I mean, this was going to be newsworthy, Sam. We were going to totally expose the backdoor that exists on all these websites, and the backdoor is narcissism. Well, so I don't need to explain revolutionary thought to you, and I don't need to explain how social media is narcissistic. Well, so what my gang on Twitter discovered was that simply by acting democratic, that agreeing to use the same call letters at the beginning of our responses and all responding to the same thing at the same time gave us total control over the website. I mean, there were only 30 of us, but with us being organized and using the same call letters, I need for you to understand this, Doc. That's the reason why I made this video. What, you are an intelligent man, and you're not just educated, you're what people used to call gifted. What, you graduated college at age 12, you speak 10 languages, you handled worldly financial affairs, and then while in prison you went on to save the world by describing your own mental diagnosis in a groundbreakingly new fashion in your book, Malignant Self-Love, Narcissism Revisited. So, I mean, you're up there with Jung and Freud. I mean, Jung went crazy, but he was brilliant enough to be able to write a coherent book about what it was like, and so then people who weren't crazy came to understand what it was like. And well, that's exactly what you did. So I'm not bloviating when I say you're in the same category as them. I'm telling you all this because I want you to understand that I know exactly who it is I am speaking to. You are a revolutionary force, Doc. And as a revolutionary force who possesses a great amount of intelligence, I need for you to get this. Because what we found is a skeleton key, a backdoor, a wide open flank, a straight shot right to the heart of the Death Star. And I already told you what it is. Here, Doc, I want to show you something.
Computer, YouTube की comment section सामने लाओ.
Okay, so what do you see, Doc? I'll tell you what I see. It's a perfect showcasing of how the world has become narcissistic because of social media.
It's total gibberish. It's a total incoherent mess. It's just person after person talking just to hear themselves talk. The only thing organized about it is that it's all happening on YouTube.
There is absolutely zero cohesive thought happening here. All these people talking, and not a single one of them talking to each other. It's bizarre, no?
Well, that's because we allowed these websites to do all the organizing. Yep. Well, so let me show you what happens when people start to act democratically.
Did you see that? Here, just wait. Here. Do you see, Doc? All revolutions start from the bottom up. The commenter has all the power. They just don't realize they've been brainwashed into thinking they're the least significant element on this website.
But the truth is, and I just found this out, the comment section below this video is worth $12 billion.
So you see, Doc, it's one of those, it's so stupid it'll never work. But that's the beauty in it. Even a toddler can do it. Think about it, Doc. A digital general strike, a total shutdown of every website online, and it'll be the easiest revolution ever committed. People sitting in the comfort of their own homes in their pajamas, eating ice cream, which is something that they're already doing. Okay, so here's where I think we're in trouble. Why aren't they already doing it? Because I've heard you say people can't organize because of an epidemic of narcissism. And it's true, it is the strangest of things, Doc. The phone is in their hand. You can explain it to them that just by clicking here and pressing a few buttons, you can make it all stop. And if you try to ask to use their phone and just do it for them, they'll resist, even if you can fully demonstrate to them that it's absolutely in their best interests. I think that even if I explained to them that my life depended on it, that they would still hesitate.
It's a cult. YouTube. It's a cult. Everything on this website is the exact same thing that Scientology does to its victims. And something you said recently about cults has me very worried, Doc. You said they'd rather go ship.
They'd rather go down with the ship than exit the cult and start over.
Well, YouTube just merged with the Pentagon. And we've lost our legacy media, and they're turning off Google, and they ended the subscriber policy, and they're building data centers everywhere, which is like hitting the gas on climate change. So
क्या करें डॉक्टर?
What do we do, Doc?